Happy Tuesday. Cup of Joe. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to share this to my personal page, and we'll get started. I hope you enjoy the tunes. And I hope you're doing super well. I see you, Kade. Turn this music off real quick. Anyway, what up, gang? It is your boy Joe Tang. I have my cup here. It is not coffee today, it's tea, but this is episode number 20 of A Cup of Joe. Today I'll be speaking with a drummer and a producer. He goes by the name of Kade. He's in the backstage right now. I'm getting ready to pull him on, but I just want to acknowledge like everyone who's actually paying attention to these episodes. I've been receiving a lot of nice messages on Instagram and text messages, and it just means a lot. It means a lot to me because I'm having a good time networking with these individuals, and I know that, and I say this in almost every episode, I know that the conversations that we're having have little bits and pieces of value in them, whether it's just positivity or whether it's around a certain topic. I just know that we're just having a great conversation. So I appreciate you, and I hope you're having a great Tuesday. I hope you're staying safe and healthy, and like always, keeping your peace of mind. I'm getting ready to pull Kade up. This is my first time speaking to him, by the way. So let's see if I can get him on.
My man.
Good morning, my man. I don't think I can hear you. Oh, there you go. What's good? What's good? What's going on?
Yeah, wait. I'm just posting an Instagram story about your show. So give me 1 quick second.
Yeah, man, I need to do that too. Like I need to. That's what I was trying to do earlier, and then I got impatient. So while you're doing that, just know, like all this technology sometimes is gets crazy, especially like when you're a one-man team. So.
Oh, dude, I feel you. That's my life, man.
I know.
It's our solopreneur.
That's why I said that.
So how are you, man?
I'm good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for being willing to come on. I know it was a last minute hit up, but you made the time, so I appreciate it.
Always, man.
How are you handling? By the way, I'm looking at your background right now. It looks amazing. Are you in the studio?
Oh yeah, this is just my home studio.
That's cool,
so,
man.
Yeah, I'm lucky that my parents are supporting what I do now. Like they weren't doing it before, but now I got lucky. So like I get to cut out on rent and just kind of have a studio down here and make my income from here while I save some money.
That's cool. Good for your parents and good for you for taking that step. I'm curious, was it because of the COVID-19 that they decided to support? Because you said before they weren't, and then now they are.
Oof.
Yeah.
It's a very long story. But if you want to hear, so
yeah, I do. Yes. But for the sake of like the show and the audience, please introduce yourself, tell people what you do and what you're up to, and kind of give them a little bit of context on you.
All right, welcome guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Kade. I'm an electronic music producer and I'm a drummer. My main project right now is a band called Alex Kade. And what I'm trying to do with that is to integrate live drums and live just theatrics and just a better show into EDM music, because electronic music at the festivals and stuff, DJs are just kind of just standing behind the board and letting the lights kind of do the work and stuff. So I'm trying to create a new product, if you want to call it that, a new type of electronic music performance. And then how I'm doing this is just like kind of integrating theatrics into music. And then I've just learned a bunch of business stuff on the TikTok. I think Joe found me off TikTok or Instagram or something,
TikTok.
right? And so I've just been using that to funnel people towards this project that we're releasing. And because of COVID-19, we were supposed to actually release our first song and our first videos to showcase our show 2 weeks from now. But then we actually got our content shoot canceled like the day before.
Crazy.
Everything just got locked down, right? So all our stuff got canceled. And then now we're just trying to figure out, okay, what can we do in the meantime while we're waiting to get these videos done when the lockdown's over? So that's what COVID-19 has done to me, and that's who I am.
That's what's up, man. I appreciate the share. Aaron Knitz is my good friend. He said he loves EDM. I love EDM as well, man. Actually, I was listening back in 2012 to 2000. I mean, I still listen to it, so let me not say like I put up on it, but Kade.
Oh man, love that guy.
Big time Cascade guy. One more guy I can't remember. He's just not coming to my mind right now. But anyway, I really appreciate EDM music. So
awesome, thank you.
It's
a cool genre.
Where you based right now?
I'm in Toronto. I live just 20 minutes north of Toronto.
Gotcha. Are you a Drake fan? I know that's not EDM, but I'm just curious.
No, I respect his hustle. Like, I'm not a fan of his music, but then like in terms of like production and then his business skills and him as a person, I love that guy. But his music is not my thing. But then everything about him, I love.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Gotcha. That's cool. Yeah. So for everybody who's watching, this is Kade. I found him via TikTok, and what's funny is that I didn't find you from a music video because I know you do a lot of tutorials like how to. Jessica Joseph would appreciate this conversation as well. She was on my show last week. She's a music artist as well, Kade. I'll link you two up. Actually, yes, please. At some point during this conversation, give me all your handles where you're at. That way I can share it with the audience and then they can find you. But yeah, Jessica Joseph, I know you're a Gary Vee guy. Yeah?
Oh, I love him.
So check this out. Jessica, and I'm going to get back to the whole story, but Jessica had created an intro for Gary Vee's new Tea Time with Gary, and he featured for like 4 days on his show. So that was dope.
That's crazy.
I found Jessica.
No way.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I would love to connect with her. Thank you for that, man.
Cool. Anyway, so I found Kade. You were doing a whole bunch of just educating and sharing positivity and mindset stuff. And that's what really fascinated me about you before I even realized that you're a music artist. So I'm just curious, man, like the content that you're putting out, because not a lot of it's music related. More of it's just like being a good human. Like what drives that?
Well, growing up, I was always, so this stems from me just pursuing my dreams. And growing up, like typical Asian household, doctor, lawyer, those are the only two things that you can be. Right. And my parents are like, yo, you got to go to school. You got to do this, get a job and whatever. But I'm like, I was never happy doing all of that. I was never happy in school learning what I wanted to learn or learning the things they were forcing into us. Right. I wanted to do my own thing, except having my parents there just being like, no. And having the rest of my friends, I live in a pretty Asian community. All their parents are like that too. So they're raised like that. So just my whole environment's just like, no, you got to do this. And this is the only way to live your life. And I've just never been down with that. So I just started sharing on TikTok, just motivation and just like, I know there's a lot of young people on TikTok. Now the older audience is growing, but you're never too old to like pursue your dreams. But I know since the younger audience, like I don't want them to be in an environment like I was and to be stuck in that you can only do this. Right now, like with the internet, especially, we're in a time of such opportunity that you can literally do anything that you want as long as you educate yourself, and all that information you can find right on Google for free. Right. So you just got to put in the time. So I want people to know that they're not alone if they want to pursue their dreams. All right. Just because they're surrounded by an environment that's telling them no doesn't mean there's like no one out there who's doing it, because that's how you get the Jeff Bezos and Steve Jobs of the world. They did it when everyone else said no, right? Right now we're just doing it on a smaller scale. Obviously we're not that rich, right? But it's still like, I don't want people to be in an environment where people are just telling them no. All right. So I'm using my platform to share that, right? And the first time I posted a video that was like motivational, it was just like telling people, kind of trying to put people in, trying to put into perspective how many views and how many people are actually seeing your stuff on TikTok. So like, if you only get 30 views on your TikTok, right? That's only a little number 30. But if you
Right.
kind of zoom back out, you think about when you were back in school and you had a class of 30 and like you were doing a presentation in front of that class, like that was a lot of people and it was nerve wracking. So if you like imagine these 30 people were just out here on the street watching you dance or something, and they're like giving you 30 likes. 30 likes is a lot. 30 people like your stuff, right? That's a lot of freaking people, except people get so bummed out when they only get 10, 20 likes, 100 views or something. That's a lot of people. All right. So like just keep enjoying what you're doing. Right. And when I posted that, that actually got a really good response. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. So let's try using what I live, right? What I live and breathe, and share that on TikTok. And let's see if we can use that to funnel people towards my music. So that's why most of my stuff, it's honestly like 2/3 I'm trying to motivate people and to do what they want. And then 1/3 of my stuff is like music related stuff, to in case people want to find out more about me and how
Yeah.
I grew up and how I learned about all this motivational stuff, right? It was through my music. So obviously, like in the grand term of things, I don't care if they follow me or not, right? I just want them to, if I can affect at least one person a day to just keep doing what they want, not to give up, to do what makes them happy as opposed to what society is telling them to do, I'll be happy for life.
That's awesome, man. Couple things. Number one, just to get out of the way, someone's asking what your TikTok username is. So if you give me that, I'll put it on this banner, which
It
usually has
is
done it ahead of.
at Music by Kade. I
Uh,
think I typed that in the private chat right now.
cool, cool, cool. I'm gonna put it on the screen so people can find it because I saw that come through. Music by Kade with a K, right?
Yes, Kade.
Cool, cool, cool. All right, cool. So for anybody who's asking where to find Kade, um, there it is. You should see it down below. You said a couple of things that oh, you put it in the private chat. That's what you said. Yeah, gotcha. Couple things, man. I totally agree with, this is the time you can literally come on the internet and use your voice to spread whatever message you want to spread, and hopefully it's a positive message. But I've had conversations with the most random people who are doing amazing things. Like the Reese's guy was on my show, and he literally is a super fan of Reese's. Are you still there, Kate? I think the screen froze. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. By the way, April, I see you out there. David, Jessica, Asim. I hope I'm saying your name right. Thanks for hopping on the show. I'm waiting for Kate to get back. I think we have a disrupted internet connection, but you guys bear with us. You there, Kate?
Yeah. Hello?
Hello? Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, you're coming in and out, but I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you right now. All right, give him a second. The connections are going back and forth, but I just want to say what's up to some people in the audience. Zuli, hey, what's going on? Good morning. How are you doing? Jessica, yep, you're Keep It Real Realtor. That's how you find Jessica. She's a music artist as well. If you hear me, Kade, she left her handle in the comments. Bro, what app are you using? Guys, please. I'm using it's called StreamYard. Go to StreamYard.com. It's an amazing, very efficient app for live streaming. For everybody who's out there, I'm talking to Kade. He's a music artist and a producer. And right now we are just waiting to get him reconnected. I think he hopped on another device. Give me 1 second. 1 second. While we're waiting, like anybody who's watching, like literally use this time to network with people, because you never know like people's backgrounds or their stories or like how they can help you sometime in the future. So if you're not going to like engage or ask questions for the show, definitely use the comments for networking with other people. Let me bring Kate on. Two of you. I appreciate that, Asim. I appreciate the kind words.
Man.
Are you on? Okay, cool. I got you. I think we're good. or maybe not. By the way, he told me already beforehand he was gonna have a
All
little
right, I'm
connection.
gonna move rooms real quick.
All right, cool. While you're waiting, I'm just keeping the audience entertained. I have a couple of things I want to share with them. So, David, I appreciate you. You've been on like every show, so I just want to acknowledge you. Uh, thank you so much, man, for your support.
All right, I moved into a different room. It's closer to a router. I'm hoping
Cool.
this should work.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
You look good and you sound good. All good, man. So anyways, I was saying, like, to your points, like, everybody has a starting point, right? And you mentioned like the Steve Jobs and the Jeff Bezos, and yeah, while we're not at where they're at, right? Because I feel like everybody has like different tiers in life, and they've hit a certain peak moment that they're doing their thing, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we should compare our lives to them. But everybody, what we can relate with is everybody has like a zero. And I think that's what you're
Yeah.
sharing with the opportunity on the internet. It's like you could come on and like spread a message out, whatever that is, and literally build something meaningful from that. And I just got off a conversation listening to a Gary Vee talk. And, one of the things he was saying was that it's not about putting things on a pedestal. It's about like literally putting your happiness on a pedestal. And that's what I love about your content. The other thing I wanted to touch on as well,
Thank you.
honestly, I don't know if you've seen my content, but you and I have a very, very similar video about
No way.
yeah, about like people value the likes. I say this on every episode, bro. So this is this is why I knew we were gonna relate.
Man.
People value like the hearts or the views or the likes or the engagement or the things, right? And they put those things on a pedestal, and it eats up at their self-worth. And I'm not talking because I feel like I'm on my high horse. I was that person as well, but then I started to realize like it's not worth it at the end of the day. And so that's when I start really coming out and like sharing my messages of like positivity, happiness. That leads into so many other things that are way more valuable than the things that we think are valuable. So I just wanted to say that I appreciate that point you made.
Dude, I've been there too. I actually, when I was 16, I started a YouTube channel, and then it was like about a year in, it started kind of getting a lot of traction. It was just me showing off my drumming. But then I remember when I posted a video that got a lot of views, I was only going for the views and the likes, and that was it. And that's like, whenever I had a video that I practiced like 2 weeks for,
Yeah.
and then it didn't do well, man, I felt so bad about myself. But then that video, like if I watch it now, that video that didn't do well, it was so much better than like the one that only got like 200,000 views.
Yeah.
Right. So I totally understand. I was back there too, and it's just you kind of got to grow out of it.
Absolutely.
You got to learn what matters to you.
Absolutely. So, obviously music matters to you, and obviously like helping the youth. I know you're creating a lot of TikTok content, and I don't know how active you are on Instagram, but like helping them realize, that there's opportunities available. Like what else matters to you, man? And literally this is how this show is going to go, man. I feel like because I haven't really engaged with you yet, like I just want to learn more about like what you're up to. Like I was telling the audience before you hopped on, I think that within these conversations, there's going to be things that I know would help people out, whether they just enjoy the banter between you and I back and forth, and it's like something positive they get to watch in the morning, or we actually are saying some stuff that impacts their life in a positive way. So, anyways, what are things that matter to you? Curious.
In terms of my values, man, honestly, it's just being a great person. Knowing when you're doing something bad and improving upon that, and just giving back when you have more than others. Those are the main things, and that's what I try to do. Funny thing about my music, I can relate all of this to my music, and because that's what I lived,
cool.
right?
Yeah,
that's how I learned all my life lessons. But
right.
I remember back when I was like 18, 19, everyone was saying, yo, you're so good at drums, you're so good at music, whatever. And then like my ego was up there. And then I actually ended up going to university for music for like a couple of years. And then when I got there, I was surrounded by everyone who was just way better than me. And so that like kicked my ass so hard. I felt so bad. But then it took me a while to realize the only reason why that felt bad was because I allowed myself I allowed my ego to get to that point. So now, having so many people that are so good, that is like the best thing you can have, because that when you surround yourself in an environment like that, that just pushes you to be better. right? So now, whenever I kind of see someone who's just getting a bit on their high end, uh, if they're willing to allow me to talk to them about that, like I'll share my story. I'm like, yo, you kind of got to settle down. Like you're an amazing person, you're an amazing producer, whatever you do, but you got to settle down because you'll find so much more success when you kind of just humble yourself down. And that's really important to me because it's just sorry to swear, but I was an asshole back when I was younger.
Yeah.
And now I just feel like I'm a way better person. I still make so many mistakes, but every time I make a mistake, I kind of just lock myself in and be like, okay, this just happened to you. How can you make sure this never happens to you again? So, and to make sure you never affect someone else that way. Like if it's all internal, sure, whatever. But if you're making someone feel bad or you're affecting someone with your actions and in a negative way,
Right.
like you got to learn how to get out of that, and you will find so much more success when you're just constantly improving upon yourself, whether it's like how you act as a person, how you do business, just like if you're constantly improving, all right. And yeah, so never give up on improving, never give up on whatever you want to do, because if you don't give up, then like you'll get to the top.
Yeah, for sure. What was one of the biggest like obstacles you've had to face to start to realize like, oh my gosh, I need to take a step back from, being an asshole or whatever. Like what was that? Because I feel like everybody has those moments that just hit you and it's like, damn, I gotta reevaluate my life and
Yeah.
start to see how I can change. When was that moment for you? If you don't mind me asking, because that's a pretty
Oh yeah, of course.
question. Yeah.
Some of my friends just stopped being my friends, and that was just like and they didn't tell me why until like I found out like from another friend. They're like, yo, this guy's just too out of it, right? And I could already feel, I'm like, is it because I'm doing this? Is it because like I'm better than them? And I
Yeah.
wasn't, right? But that's what I
Yeah.
thought back then. I'm like, okay, if they don't want to be around someone who's that good, then they don't deserve it. But then that was like the wrong view to look at it. And someone told me, like, yo, you got to get off your shit,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, I'm a terrible person and I got to fix that. So
Yeah.
like I lost some friends through it, but then like I learned a lot, and it hurts, but you got to go through those crappy lessons in life in order for you to keep growing and get better.
For sure. Fun a story for you, just to learn more about me as well, is like when I started working with my mom, I feel like that was the first time her and I like actually started to get a relationship. So I'm in the salon
Wow.
business and she started the salon back in 2009. I started working with her when I graduated in 2010. And I was able to get into her company and be put at a position where I had to lead people. Right.
Yeah.
And so I think I don't know what it was, man, but there was a point in time where I was a big asshole. Like I had this title, it's my mom's company, so that means I'm the owner, and I was just treating people without realizing it in ways that I knew like it didn't feel right, but I knew I was forcing myself to be that person, and then it hit me when I knew that just communication, like there's so much friction happening between my mom and I that I knew like it was a choice I had to make. I either had to change the person or like I just had to deal with potentially losing a relationship with my mom. So it's
Exactly.
I asked that question because like I had that moment of realization. I've had several moments as well, like in my life, but I was just curious what one was. So you say you use a lot of your music to as inspiration to like um, impact the world with your positive message. Are you doing like a lot of because I went through your content last night and I was just looking at some of your on Instagram and I was looking at some of your posts and you're doing some singing. So are you doing some like lyrics or are you just mainly producing in?
Man, I can't sing. I'm trying to work on singing. Maybe just like 20 minutes, 30 minutes every 2 days a week or
Yeah.
something. My lyrics aren't really anything. I see myself more as like a composer in a way, and like a drummer in that sense. Like I do want to do like vocals when I perform, but that's in a few years down the line.
Okay, yeah.
But in terms of using my music to impact people, it's more of like I share how I do my music, and I share the things I know about the music business rather than like my actual music, right?
Exactly.
And then because music business is just business, and the things you learn in business are just things you can take with you in everywhere, right? So if you're doing like if you're trying to promote a song, right, that's just marketing, right? You can use the exact same things in marketing, in music marketing, as you do like when you're trying to market your new product that you're trying to create,
Right.
It's very, very similar, right? And so most of my followers on Instagram are musicians, but then there's some people who are there for the motivation. And now I got to kind of figure out how can I recreate or rethink my content in a way that can connect with the musicians and also be simple enough for the non-musicians to understand, right? So I'm not actually sharing my music on my Instagram, it's sharing my knowledge about music and sharing how to help you grow, whoever my followers are.
Gotcha. Gotcha. The end goal being that you are what? What's the end goal for you with, like, when it's all said and done? What does that look like for you with
Man,
music?
I'm gonna win 5 Grammys or at least one. That's my goal. That's what I see.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I want to show people, right?
Yeah.
I just want to
Yeah.
document my whole process
That's cool.
getting
Yeah.
there and how
Yeah.
much work it took and exactly what I did in order to get that. Because people think like, there's so many people who love music and want to make it as a career, but they don't know how. So like I've been lucky enough to kind of learn from so many failures that this is how you do it. And I'm sure that I'm still gonna keep failing and keep learning, but like these are the different ways
Yeah.
to make music your career, right? And like even if like you don't want to go full in, even if you just want music as like a part-time hobby where you can make like $100 a month or something, like that's still awesome because you're having fun and you're getting paid for it, right? So if I can show people how to do that, right, that I would be very, very happy with that.
That's awesome. Have you partnered with some artists that you've been really proud of? Like, and I don't want to say big names, but like, what are some? I know there's some people that you want to meet and like collab with. Have you done that?
Yeah, I actually joined this little producer group where they give feedback and stuff, and some of the producers in that group are like big names signed to big labels. So probably the only instance where I actually had a really good collaboration, or not really a collaboration, but he basically told me my song was bad, and he told me what was bad about it, and that was like probably the biggest instance of like me working with like a really big artist.
Yeah.
But in terms of people that I want to meet, yeah, I want to work with like the big guns like Skrillex, Marshmello, Chainsmoker. Those are my idols, right? And like I don't know if I'll ever get there, right? I know I have the potential to win a Grammy, but I don't know if I'll ever get to the point where I get to work with these guys. But I've worked with so many other artists that are like a bit smaller, and they're still my idols because I respect what they do, and like they're a bit further than me. But I used to be a session drummer, so it was a lot of just like drumming for different artists, and I got flown out to like Atlanta before, to Florida.
Did you say
play for
session
them.
drummer?
Yeah, session drummer, right?
Okay.
So just a drummer for hire, right? So I played a lot of R&B and hip hop last year and the year before that, and I was very lucky to just like kind of see these artists who I know they're going to blow up in a few years, right? But then I was lucky to work with them.
Yeah, that's cool. Cool, man. Like, documenting your journey is another big belief of mine as well. I started that in 2016. I started a vlog just to kind of like start to storytell about who I was, and that was pretty much one of the most uncomfortable like moments in my life. And so like you're pretty much using your platform for multiple reasons, like documenting kind of, hey, this is me at point A and this is me at point B, this is me at point C. Are you using YouTube as well? Where else are you communicating your messages?
I'm about to start YouTube. Like YouTube is it takes a bit more commitment to do that YouTube thing. And I don't know if I want to take away the time on my business, on my music, take away some of that time spent composing and marketing and put it towards YouTube. Obviously YouTube is like, that will help, but
Yeah.
then I have a tendency to overwork myself a lot, and then staying away from YouTube is like kind of keeping me just a bit grounded. Having Instagram and TikTok and then my music and just like kind of connecting with more people, that's already filling up like 40 to 50 hours a week. And then like I want to try my best not to go over that. I totaled my car 2 years ago because I stopped sleeping. It was right when I dropped out of school,
Oh, you felt
and I was like, I have all this time.
yeah.
Yeah, I fell asleep behind the wheel. I dropped out of school because I just felt like I wasn't learning anything anymore. It was still music school, but I fell asleep behind the wheel because I was like, I have all this time. Let's work and let's make sure that dropping out of school was the good decision. And then I like slept like 2 hours a day, and then I crashed my car, and
Wow.
I was completely fine. I was very, very lucky,
Wow.
but no one was injured. It was just like I fell asleep and I crashed into a tree and my car was just like gone. But since then, I've like, okay, don't work yourself too hard. And there are still weeks where I'll have like 70 to like 80-hour weeks, right? But then like I recognize I'm like, this is just a once in a while thing. And then like after this week is done, you're gonna rest for like 2-3 days in a row.
Right, right. Good for you, man. I think that's important too. Um, I have those conversations with myself as well because I feel like I can push it, right? Like I can work till 4 in the morning,
Yeah.
get a couple hours of sleep, and try to get up and do the same thing the next day. And I think I think that plays a bigger toll on health than I probably realized. I've never done like major research on it, but I've started to like think about, I'm a new parent, so I have twins and think about my kids and my longevity. And
Congrats. That's amazing.
yeah, I
I love
appreciate it.
that.
And so like I'm really starting to appreciate and value like rest a little bit more. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that's what's cool about not cool, but that's what is kind of eye opening with the COVID-19 is like I'm hearing a lot of people mentioning that they're starting to respect like the rest and the downtime because like we all are like I just think as a society like we're all used to just moving so fast, not necessarily working, but just like always on the go, like our minds are always stimulated, right? And so I think taking a step back and whether it's rest or like having your time to like be in your own head is it's something that's underrated.
Yeah. I have a question for you actually.
Yeah.
How do you do what you do? Like you've got your kids and you're having a show every single day and just like so how do you stay committed to things that you're doing? And if you have any tips, like I want them.
I just good question by the way. Let me read this real quick in the comments. So they said just checked out your gram and bro, you are a beast on the drums. Those tracks you did sound great, dope.
Thank you, Jessica.
Cool. So
Really appreciate that, Jessica.
so that's a great question, man. And I think that's what I'm saying. Like I don't even know how to answer it without like really going deep, right? Like
Go
mm,
deep, man.
like and I really credit like the birth of my children really made me look in the mirror and say, who do you want to be in life? Like I stepped back from a job where I was doing consulting from all over the country. And the reason I stepped back was because I knew I knew who I was and I know what the value I want to put out into the world is. And I wanted to start working on that sooner than later. And so just having that look in the mirror, man, and saying, what is it that you're doing? Who are you? And asking myself all those questions just really changed. Like I feel like I'm a brand new person, like inside out. Like
Yeah,
and I'm
amazing.
33, so like that just happened 2 years ago. So like I went through life not really knowing myself, and I feel like I'm finally getting comfortable in my shoes. And so when you ask like how am I able to make this happen, it's because I'm just going back to like who I was before and how I feel now, and I'm like there's just no turning back. I feel great. I feel like I'm doing the best thing to put myself and my family in a good position. I feel like I'm setting an example for my kids. I feel like I know where my parents came from. That's the reason why I'm standing here. Like I just put all these things in perspective, and it gives me energy to want to wake up and do as much as I can every single day. And trust me, like I drop a lot of balls, man, because I try to do a lot, but that's how driven I am. And so this show is easy to me, man, because I'm talking to people
Wow.
minded, and I know that I'm doing a good thing by people who are paying attention. So this is like one of my favorite parts of the day. I don't consider it like anything stressful. I think the most stressful piece of this show is like setting it up, like making sure the stream is well and making sure like I can find the right audio. But outside of this, man, I love doing this. And actually this gives me more fuel to be able to go into my day with more energy. And I kind of compare it to working out. Like if I go to the gym and I hit
Yeah.
it for about an hour, I was telling my girlfriend Courtney this the other day. Like I come back like a brand new person at home. I'm like ready to do the dishes. I'm ready to clean. I'm ready to pop. Like
Yes, I feel you. I feel you.
and so I feel like that's what stuff like this does for me is like when I have this kind of interaction with people, I get that fuel to go into my day with a newfound energy. So I don't even know if I answered your question, but that's how I'm doing it, man. It's just
Oh
perspective.
no, that was great. No, I want to hear more about just like the stories of how people are getting to like-minded people who are steps ahead of me. Like, because you're doing what you love. You're making a good career out of it, and you're able to take care of your kids. And obviously, I want to have kids someday too. I want to be able to make this a sustainable career for myself, and that's why I work so hard right now. I just love hearing how people did it, like no matter what industry, no matter what job they have. So thank you for that. That was very inspiring.
Yeah, that's
Thank
cool,
you.
man. And what I want to tell you is, man, you inspire me, right? And you're inspiring everybody. That's how I found you. I feel like if it wasn't for you know, you coming on my For You page and like preaching like some good stuff, right? And I was like, who is this kid? Like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
He's not making. I saw two of your videos, and I can't remember exactly what the topics were, but I was like, he's not really making. You could tell he's not on TikTok to become famous. Like he's on here creating content to push value. And then I found you on your Instagram page, and I can tell like your how-to videos, like you're doing stuff to serve people, and that's what made me realize like, oh, like I want to know more about what you're up to because that's cool that you're just out there putting out your best stuff. You could tell like you're really putting like thought into what you're doing, and so, man, we're all on the same journey, and I think that's the thing that excites me about this show because I'm always referencing for people out there who's watching. Like, I'm always going to reference Gary Vee because he's been a big person who's like forced me to look in the mirror. But you know, he always like when he's giving advice to people, he's like, you need to put those AirPods in your ear and listen to ambition or listen to positivity. And when I recall like him saying that, I feel good about doing stuff like this because I'm like hearing your story, hearing the story we had yesterday by like or actually yesterday was Dr. Durgan, but even hearing her story or hearing anybody who I bring in the shows, like they're all about ambition. People have like goals, and like you said, like in your family, like you just wanted more in your life, and I love that. I love that. I love that so much that this is what fuels this conversation for me. So I appreciate you asking that question, man. It made me like I've never said that out loud on any of my platforms, but that's really what fuels me to do these shows.
Dude, I appreciate the talk. When you messaged me, I was like really surprised. I'm like, I'm just a guy doing music in his basement and just sharing some videos occasionally.
Yeah.
And when you messaged me, I was like, what the heck? Right. And then you told me exactly what you want. You're like, you want to connect yourself to like better people. I'm like, am I a better person? I don't know.
Yeah.
But like I just feel very honored to be with you right now. And like this is gonna make my day so much better. I didn't expect talking to you was gonna be this amazing. I thought it was just like it's just a typical podcast. Nah, man, I'm having so much fun. You're an awesome person, and thank you for inspiring me
Hey,
in the
that's
short
cool.
time we've talked.
That's cool. That's good, man. And that's how I want the show to be, right? And here's the thing, though. Here's the thing that I think is pretty cool. I'm gonna find the best way to say it. Um, we're all just people at the end of the day, and what's cool is like the internet is giving us an opportunity to really like show ourselves. And like you said, am I a good person? Like, am I a good person? Right? Like when people give me all the admiration on TikTok, I'm like, I'm still struck. Like that's why from time to time you'll see me post a video that says like I'm not perfect. Like my life's not all put together. Like I'm not trying to sit on my high horse and say this. All I'm trying to do is like my personality is driven to positivity and like love. I'm just trying to share that with you guys with whatever energy I have. And I'm saying that because I feel the same way you do. And I'm sure like everybody, there's a song. I don't know if you follow the artist Russ. I was gonna ask you that before we even started going on these.
Yeah, I don't really listen to his stuff, but just I know his story, and he did it. He's like
Dude,
the
he's
epitome of
amazing.
hustle.
Yeah, he's amazing. Like he
Yeah,
produces his own stuff. I mean, he's he's literally
insane.
like doing what you're doing, right? Like he started from his
Yeah,
base.
it's crazy.
Yeah. So he has his own label and he's doing his own thing. But anyway, he's always like talking about how like we're all people, bro, at the end of the day. Like, and I just want to connect with the people who are like out there trying to, I don't only want to connect with them, but I really want to learn more about the people who are out there trying to make a difference. And that's what I think is cool about the internet is like we get to show who we are in the light.
Exactly.
And really we're good people. It's like what's the saying? Like cream rises to the top. Like if we're good people, that's gonna show at some point. Like
Yeah.
when we have to face, like you say in your video and the video I made, when we have to see these people in a room, like then the reality is gonna kick in of are we really good people? And so based off the content you've been putting out, I know you're a good person, man. So I just want to say that.
That means a lot.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, for sure.
Really appreciate it.
So, let's this is we're 38 minutes in. I'm trying to keep it tight in an hour, but I've run over like a couple days ago I was like an hour 30. So there's no limit to this conversation, but I do want to focus on like bringing some value to people, especially around what you do, right? So, like as a producer, as a music artist or drummer, what are the top things that you're focusing on right now to build your brand?
As you said, you see me showing off that value, and that's honestly like kind of my marketing tactic and my funnel to give people things that they need, and if they're interested in seeing more of it, they'll follow me, and then I'll just occasionally sprinkle my music into there. Sorry, I forgot the question. What am I?
Yeah. So what are your
What
like
am I
as
doing?
a drummer, as a producer? What are your top?
Yeah.
What are the top three things you're focused on to build your brand? Because that's one of the questions that come up,
Okay.
right? Like people are
Yes.
trying
Yes.
to
Yes.
make it.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, people are doing music. They're
Yeah.
trying to make it. So what are you doing right now to make it happen?
Yeah. For music, so first of all, like you gotta think of your music as the product, and you got to make the best possible product you can. So many people just want to skip the steps of practicing. Right? I see so many singers and producers. You're just like they just want to get to making money quicker, but there really is no shortcut. For me to have been able to drum full time for a couple of years, man, I was practicing like 6 to 8 hours a day, right? Every single day. I had no days off. Like sometimes, like when I didn't want to practice, I'd still put in like an hour. And like I hated practice. I hate practicing. I really do. But like you got to force yourself to do the things that you don't like. Like I love making music, but I hate getting to the point where you can start making good music. But I just know that that's how it happens. And I was very lucky to be put in that position first, where I had to learn about how to improve in a skill before getting into producing, where now I can have my own voice. Right. So that's very important. You got to make sure your music is good. You got to make sure your work ethic is good. Another thing is, you got to, again, business. I talk so much about business. You got to get your business skills together. If you're making music, but then you're not learning how to get people to listen to it, like, is there really a point of making music? Like, it's amazing for you, but like we all want our music to be heard by people, right? If you're just making music in your bedroom and you're happy with that, do that, and that's amazing, and I admire you for that. But
Right.
if you want to get it heard, you got to learn how to get it heard. All right, study Apple, study business books, study how they do it in order to get their products. Again, your music is the product. Study how people get their products out there, and those are two things. Let me think of a third one, like music, business,
While you're thinking about that,
and
I
just
that popped in my head. Who's an artist that you're if you follow? I don't know if you're following any personalities that like inspire you for your brand. I know you mentioned like Skrillex and Marshmallows or something like that. But who
yeah.
in your mind is doing it right when it comes to their brand on the internet, and why?
Man, there's so many artists that I love, and I love their hustle,
But if you had to
and
pick one,
I don't know if like they're doing it themselves. Yeah,
yeah,
I would say Brockhampton. So they're a rap collective of, and they're just made up of like 13 different people, but
yeah,
then they all have their different roles. And in order to have that kind of that team of 13 people, like it's if you're working by yourself, that's hard. But if you're working with like 13 others, that's really hard. Working with people is hard. And so somehow they just know how to divide up who writes which songs and which parts to keep, because they're just made up of like 7, 8 different rappers and then a bunch of different producers too. And they all just kind of put their ideas together. But then watching, just kind of seeing like I've never seen the process, but like somehow they're able to just be like, okay, we don't like this of your song, but we want to keep this. And then we don't like this lyric, but we want to keep this of yours. And just being able, like, just seeing them, like, I know they're humble people because they're able to take that from each other and just have each other be like, that's not good, but that is.
yeah.
Right. And just like kind of have that network. I don't know how their marketing is, but I know that when they were first starting out, I think just like a few years ago, like they released, I think 3 albums within a month of each other, and each of those albums was like 16 songs. So what's six? So 30, so 48 songs, right? Just like bam.
Yeah.
And they just released it so close together. And like the amount of work that it takes to like make an album, master it, mix it, and make all those songs. Obviously, it's easier with 13 people, but then
Yeah.
again, it's also harder, right? And they're able to market that, and they got so big. And I respect them. So I love their music too. They're amazing, amazing musicians, and they're really bringing rap to a new level, bring hip hop. It's like it's insane what they're doing.
That's cool, man.
But those are my favorite guys, and I just love who they are.
That's cool, man. Give me the name of that band or that group again. And I see
Um,
Joey Brolin's in the comments laughing at me because I said Marshmallows. I don't know too many of these bands, man. I listen to probably a handful of people when it comes to music. So, what's the name of the bands that you said you were inspired by? So I don't screw anybody up by my.
It's called Brockhampton. Actually, I put it in the private chat, right? If they want to check them
Hey,
out.
put them in the comments though. The private chat doesn't really show
the comments. I don't know how to put comments.
Yeah, it says private chat, but anyways, let me see if I can copy and paste this. I don't know what my mom's saying in the comments. Mom, she said, "Can you please ask your guest what is his take?" Oh, this is my uncle. He has a question. He has a question for you. This is my uncle. Shout out to my uncle. My uncle Will has African Music TV on YouTube. I have to give him that plug just because he's doing amazing things on there. So you should check it out too, Kade. But he says, please ask your guest, what is it? What
definitely will
is his take about the decline of conventional music production and the rise of digital music sampling? Are we gaining or losing the taste of rap music? Well, Uncle Will, first of all, he doesn't do rap music, but he does EDM. But I think you can answer. You could.
I have a take on that.
Yeah. Sure.
I listen to a lot of rap. Like I grew up on hip hop, man. I love Eminem and all those guys. In terms of sampling, like it's a different type of sampling that they do these days. Like if you kind of look at like Tupac and Biggie, like they literally took their song, like Snoop, they took like chunks of songs and just kind of repeated that. That's what I hear a lot in their older songs, just like kind of a repetition. But now in terms of samples, it's like they're taking so many different samples from other things. Like yesterday, I just found out, I heard some random song on an AM radio that it was for like 50, 60-year-olds, but it was this old song. And then I heard the intro. I'm like, Drake used that in his song. And this song was like 40 years ago. I'm like, that was really cool. But then they don't use like the full thing. They just kind of just take little different parts. And in terms of like the samples, they edit them so much that you really got to listen to like, okay, how did they use the sample? Because as opposed to letting the sample run the song now, they're using the sample as just like kind of support. They're using the sample as another instrument, basically. They're not relying on that. And that's where I see rap music is nowadays. Some people may not like the newer stuff that's coming out. A lot back then, a lot of it was based like you kind of focus mainly on the lyrics and what they're saying. Now it's kind of just like the lyrics, some lyrics aren't as deep, but then the production and the composition kind of arises that. So that's why rap music is turning more into like, that's why you hear it on the radio. It's like pop music, where now you don't have to listen as deep, but you can still understand what's going on. Whereas kind of back when I was still growing up, rap music was a bit more, you really got to kind of listen, and there's a lot of like social justice and stuff. So that's where I see it, right? I wouldn't say we're gaining or losing. It's just that rap is different. And I'm sure there's still like older stuff or different genres where like you kind of have that older feel, but then now that the pop rap that you hear on the radio, it's evolving so more people can understand it.
I think it's just to play to your point, because I agree with everything you're saying, and I think it's cool that you even brought that up about how like it's shifting from deep like focus on lyrics to more production and like pop and like commercial, right? And I think my take on it, just being that I'm in love with marketing and branding, is that it's just a shift in culture, right?
Yeah.
Like literally, like Drake just dropped a video on Instagram today that's probably going to go viral with his Tusi dance. And he made that intentionally for TikTok.
Yeah, exactly.
So these artists are, the shift in culture is that you're seeing is that these artists are playing to where society's going, which is the kids are on TikTok. Music's always been appealing to kids, right? They're the people, like you said, they're the people that are kind of what, I forget the exact words you use, but they're kind of leading the way in a sense. So I think it's cool to see the shift. And I always laugh at people who kind of judge it, I think it's a great question, Uncle Will, by the way. And I'm just talking.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Uncle Will.
Yeah. I'm just talking out loud, but I think it's funny how like we judge culture so much and don't realize that it's like we're the ones that make culture. Like we as the consumers make culture. Like people are playing off of what we're doing, right? And so I think it's funny. But I loved your answer because I think that's what's happening right now. People are making songs for the
Yeah.
Instagram, TikToks, or
Yeah.
to go viral.
And one thing that I think that really makes artists stand out is if they can adapt the trends, turn the trends into their own. Like with Drake, he kind of just like that's all commercial music. He made a song for TikTok. But if we go back to Brockhampton, like something I think they would do is like, okay, how can they use TikTok as a way to showcase what they're doing and like with their music as the importance, not having the TikTok, whatever, right? They don't care
Yeah,
if their music
right, right,
makes it big or not,
right.
right? They want to share what they want to share. And like if you can kind of balance what you love and the things that you're passionate about
Yeah.
with being able to make that commercial, right? That's when you get like Eminem and those kinds of guys.
Absolutely. I think you're up to something with that because that's exactly what we started this conversation off with is that the playing field is even. It's even. And so you don't have to necessarily do what Drake is doing because he's trying to go, real big with his marketing strategy and go super commercial, right? You can be the kid in the basement that's like hustling and producing music and still get yourself to a point where you have as much impact, if not more, than what Drake's doing. Like that's literally an opportunity that everyone has, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And we need to stop comparing ourselves to their endpoint. And obviously Drake's still going, but like where they are now to where we are now. And that's what I was going to ask you about earlier. Is you were talking about documenting your process, and then you're talking about that group who is doing amazing things, and you appreciate them, but you mentioned something. You said I don't know their process, and that
Yeah.
fascinated me because I think that's what's cool about what you're doing, man, is that you're actually showing the processes, and that's why I'm fascinated with the whole document your journey, is because I don't think it's an ego play to say I know where I'm going to be 10 years down the road, and I want to be able to show my kids or show people like what the journey looked like. I think it's a smart play. Like I think it's if you really are trying to make an impact in the world, I think it's a smart play. So is that kind of how you're thinking about it when you're saying document your journey? Do you think about these bands or these people that you're inspired by and think like, I wonder what their journey looked like, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing because that's what I'm doing. What I'm doing, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I do wonder what they're doing, but that is actually not what I'm doing. What I want to do, as you know, as an entrepreneur, it's lonely at the top. So I want to be able to bring people to the top with me, bring
Mm-hmm.
my friends, bring my followers. And like, if someday I'm playing a show and some guy comes up to me, or like if there's another artist on the bill, and they're like, "Yo, I followed your Instagram like 2 years ago, and like you gave me good tips." I'd be like, I would cry right there because I'd be so happy. So I want to bring people to the top. In terms of documenting my journey, that's kind of just like an afterthought. It's like, hey, now that people can kind of scroll down and see what I did, and I can also see what I did. I can show people what I did. But then I want the people to. I'm trying to connect to the people in the now and be like, if you're doing this, like, let's do it together and see what happens. Right? I might fail. I might not. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna fail as hard as I would have like 2 years ago. Right. But again, I'm failing forward, and let's hopefully people will fail forward with me, because the more you fail, the more you learn, and the more you learn, the more higher chance you'll succeed. So I want to see people succeed.
That's cool. I see. It's like Cade's blueprint to success, whatever that success looks like for you, Cade. That's what I literally see it as, and I think it's cool. All right. So usually I ask all my guests to answer this question, man. If you were featured as a guest on the Ellen Show, uh, which would be dope if I ever got
That'd
featured
be
on
insane.
Ellen. Ellen, if you ever happen to come across this video, that'd be amazing. But what would you share to the world as far as like your message to the world? Like she said, hey, you had 30 seconds or 1 minute on the stage. Like, what would be your message out to the world?
I wouldn't be here if I listened to everyone else. That would be what I would say.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cool, man. Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a chance to ask the audience a question of the day. I want to say good morning to Yvette. I see her say good morning. And then Raging Fire Fitness is David, but this is his handle that he uses on social media. So everybody go show him love. Yo, people who are like engaging and interacting in the comments, for real, for real. Like, I love that energy because I don't know. It's just cool to know that you're paying attention. I think I'm having a great time speaking with Cade, and all my guests. I'm gonna have an enjoyable time, but seeing you guys interact and engage means a lot to me. So, Kate, I want you to ask a question of the day for the audience, and then also before we leave, like share one more time where people can find you if they want to
Yeah.
connect. But your question can be whatever you want to know about either them or something you want to learn out in the world. So, go
Yeah.
ahead.
First of all, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I didn't expect this many people to be commenting and stuff, but I appreciate you guys talking and just putting in your feedback. I'm gonna read it all when this is done. And again, thank you, Joe, for having me. This has been an amazing experience. One thing I want to know from you guys is just how are you, or if you are, how are you pushing yourself to be happier and to achieve more in life? And if you aren't, if you're already happy with your life, I want to know how you got there. But
Mm,
if there's
good question.
things that you want to be doing,
Yeah.
right? How are you doing that right now? I just want to know.
Cool. Cool. I love that. I love that question today. Yo, please. So I need to do something. Maybe you can help me brainstorm real quick. I need to do something for people who like answers the questions of the day because I'm just trying to force as much interaction and engagement as possible. Only because that's just my personality. That's a good question. That's a really good question.
Thank you.
People to answer it. So I'm trying to figure out ways to inspire people to like at least answer these questions. Jessica Joseph says, "Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing your journey." And Raging Fire Fitness says, "Thanks for sharing, Cade." Yo, go follow Cade. Go follow Cade. Here's his banner. And Cade, if you want to stick around for a little bit, I'm gonna sign off of YouTube
For
and
sure.
we could jam for a little bit before we hop off.
For
But
sure, brother. For sure. For sure.
um, Facebook, YouTube. It's been another episode of Cup of Joe. Number 20, man, it's feeling really good. I'm feeling like I'm getting in my groove of like exactly where I want to go with a lot of these conversations and the people who are meeting. For you, if you're watching this for the first time, whether it's now or after I post this, I want you to know that my hope is that at minimum, the thing you're getting from here is just the energy I have of just being passionate and being excited and full of positivity, and you're taking it into your world and impacting the people around you. At minimum, that's what I hope you're getting from this show. At most, I hope you're getting to meet awesome people like Cade, hear their story, use that as fuel, or go connect with him and just kind of follow his journey as well. So, with that being said, sending out all my love and let me see. There's one more comment. I gotta check it out. You ain't got to force it. We love being here. Oh, thanks, Yvette. Yvette's amazing. You should connect with her as well. All right.
I'm going to connect with all these people.
Cool. All right, y'all. I'll be back on tomorrow with another guest. But you guys enjoy your Tuesday, and we'll jam tomorrow.
Have a great week. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Joe.
Yes, sir.